Sarah.
Well, Trump and his closest allies have always been somewhat critical of the Mueller probe, but what you're starting to see is Republicans on Capitol Hill take up this line of attack that potentially Mueller has been compromised. And that argument is really effective because there is an element of truth underlying that line of attack. There have been questions about the political affiliations of some of the people on Mueller's team. They have donated overwhelmingly to Democrats. We've seen the emergence of these text messages suggesting that some of the people who were once investigating President Trump did harbor some animus towards him. Now, we don't know what any of that means for the investigation. It could be nothing.
But we do know that those text messages were not exchanged during the Mueller investigation that was happening.
Right. They were exchanged while that investigator was looking into the Clinton email investigation, which buttresses another argument that conservatives have made, that that investigation was tainted. So all this to say that this could be a meaningless revelation, but because there's an element of truth behind this line of attack, it is effective, and Republicans are seizing on it.
Dana, are people in the FBI, are people in the CIA not allowed to have political opinions?
No, and I don't think.
And then also able to do their job?
No, and I don't even think there's an element of truth here. I mean, look, James Comey, Republican. Bob Mueller, Republican. Rod Rosenstein, Republican. So, you know, let's keep that in perspective.
And then you have the criticism of Jim Comey helping out Clinton, which for the record, which Trump has said is a Republican.
Comey came out a week before the election and said he was reopening the investigation. It is very hard to argue that had he not done that, the election would have turned out the way it did because it was by such a close margin. So that's sort of nonsense on its face. Now, if Bob Mueller had indeed asked what each of the people he was going to hire, what their political beliefs are, who they'd contributed to, he would have violated official Department of Justice policy. So, of course, people have their own political opinions and are free to have those. Now, in this case, when this one member of the team was texting with his paramour, Mueller intervened and moved him somewhere else. So, you know, look, this is basically the argument has become there was no contact with Russia, then there was no collusion with Russia, then it's like the president, it's not a crime if the president does it. Now we've moved into Mueller is tainted and corrupt, and that's sort of the last line of defense.
Well, and to be clear here, in what I was saying was that President Trump has continuously criticized Jim Comey, a Republican, as you mentioned, for